up, guys? Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. Happy day before start of week 7. Got a lot to talk about today. Got a lot of questions to answer, I'm sure. But tons of news over the last couple of days. Obviously, there's been a ton of trade rumors. Are there going to be some veteran players that are going to new teams potentially, which could have a lot of fantasy implications? A lot of rumors specifically in New England I've been hearing, but some injuries as well. I know like the most recent injury piece of news that I just saw pop up was Josh Downs is in concussion protocol, which was pretty unexpected. Again, if you're in a really shallow format, that doesn't matter for you, but if you're in a deeper format in your redraft leagues, like that is going to be pretty relevant this week. So a lot of stuff to talk about today, but appreciate you guys that are already here. Drop a like if you haven't already, and feel free to follow that link that I have pinned in the comments if you want to get your start, sit, or trade questions answered. I'll be in the YouTube chat as well, answering a few of these. But if you want to jump the line and guarantee that your question is going to be answered, I would recommend following that link. And we also have a team review option as well for your redraft leagues tonight. Denick's first one here. What's up, Denick? Appreciate you stopping in, man. Leo says, please, I need to know, do I trade Wilson and Sutton for Odunze and Derrick Henry? Absolutely 100% yes, I would do that. Yes, sir. That is that's a real nice trade, honestly. I like that for you. You get rid of the injury stint for 3 weeks that Wilson's going to have, and you get immediate production with the bye weeks already having passed for Odunze. Michael, what's up, man? Henderson, Carter, Lil Jordan, or Cameron Johnson reaching deep in the bag right now. I would go Carter there. Carter or Henderson would be my choice there, and I think I would go Carter. What's up, Diablo? K-Dog, should I trade Goddard and Jalen Warren for James Cook and Mark Andrews? Goddard and Warren for Cook and Andrews. Yeah, I would do that. I would do that for James Cook. That's a massive, massive running back upgrade. It's worth the tight end downgrade, in my opinion. You can follow this link if you guys want to get your trade questions, start sit questions answered. I'm going to be heading over to the site in just a second, heading over to stream mode and doing a lot of those. We have a good chunk of them tonight. Real Money Redraft, would you rather have Gainwell or Spears as a backup? I have JT, Javonte, and Marks already. That's a good question. I would probably go with the better offense. I think I would go Gainwell there, honestly. I think I would go with Gainwell. That's a good question. Do you trade Saquon for Drake London and Woody Marks? I would do that move for Drake London, yes. If you can afford the loss at running back, I would do that. Good question there. Yeah, no problem, K-Dog. Start Mason or Worthy this week. I think Jordan Mason has kind of a tough matchup. Oh, man. I think I'd go with Worthy. I know Rice is coming back, but they have Vegas, and Vegas' pass defense is like one of the worst in the leagues. Or one of the worst in the league. No, go with Mason. Go with Mason. You're raising your floor if you start Mason. Let's do Jordan Mason as long as Aaron Jones is not playing, and he's not. He's not designated to be back from IR yet. All right, let's head over to the start, sit, and trade questions that we have over here. We're going to be doing a couple team reviews as well. Bitter Hornet's going to be first up, actually, for the team review part of this stream. Appreciate you waiting, Bitter Hornet, by the way. It's been a minute since we've done a DFF stream. It's been since like last Thursday. So appreciate your patience on that. But we got Andrew with a trade question. This is actually a Dynasty 12-team start 8 PPR, 2 firsts for Devon Achane. If you're a contending team, these 2 firsts, one of them a year out, I would go ahead. Trade also gives me a 28 first-round pick. Yeah, you take Achane. Take Achane, win your league. I'm assuming you're doing this as a contending team, so nice move. Pay Micah says Dynasty Mahomes, Ladd, and Ayuk for Burrow, James Cook, AJ Brown, a first and a second. So if we break this down, this is essentially James Cook, Ladd, cancel, Burrow, and a first for Mahomes, cancel, AJ Brown, Ayuk. Yeah, we'll take the AJ Brown side. I like this move. Not usually a big fan of trading Mahomes, but I like that trade quite a bit. Let's see if we can do some start sits here before we do some of the other Dynasty trade questions. Jalen Hurts at QB. Nice. We've got Achane. I hope you started Swift. I hope you started Swift. I'm assuming though in your top 2 running back spots you have to start Jacobs and HM for sure. So we're gonna go assuming that you were planning on doing that. We'll go Nico. We will go Higgins because QJ's a little banged up right now. And then we will go Hunter Henry. I'm going to go ahead and put QJ in here. I know you sent this in 5 hours ago, so this is after I'm sorry, that was Monday night. This is a different week. Golly, this is a different week. Wow, sorry. I'm like all time is throwing me off right now. So QJ versus Swift this week, essentially. So when you're looking at the matchups this week, both of them have very good matchups. One of them is banged up, the other one is not. Swift is getting like a bell cow workload guaranteed, so I would give the upper hand to Swift, honestly. When in doubt, start the running back that's getting a bell cow workload over any wide receiver, regardless of what upside they have, unless it's like JSN or Chase or something like that. I would go Swift over QJ this week. Swift has a pretty nice schedule for the next few weeks. Honestly, hang on a second. QJ over Higgins is kind of tempting. If QJ is healthy, because the Colts secondary is cooked. Like Herbert is going to absolutely annihilate them. The Chargers won't be able to run the ball against the Colts. They have a really good run D. Their pass D is completely broken. Yeah, we've got the Bugles taking on the Steelers. I'm gonna give you QJ. I'm gonna give you QJ over Higgins this week. If QJ is healthy, go with him. If he's not, then you can go with Higgins. I think both are good starting options, honestly. Again, guys, if you want to get your start, sit questions answered, trade questions, etc., just drop them in that link that I just threw in the comments. So this is and let me get to another start sit here. This is actually a redraft trade question. Also, could CMC, Marv for Rome, Saquon, Swift? I'm 1-5. Okay, so you're 1-5. CMC. Oh, these things doubled. That's funny. CMC and Benson for Saquon and Rome. Yes, Saquon and Rome. Oh, and you could throw in Marv to get Swift back in an 8-team. In an 8-team, I would take the running back, actually. I would be good with you doing the Swift move instead. Or the Swift move in addition to what you're already doing here. Because, again, Swift's going to have the same upside that Marv has. And he's a running back. He's not a wide receiver. And this is an 8-team, and you're 1-5. I'm fine making this move. Rarely do we recommend a down tier in an 8-team league, but with your record and your situation, it does make sense. Appreciate you, man. All right, we've got a start sit from JP 2016. This is Jacobs. We've got Rashad White and Scatterby as must starts. You have to flex Rashad White. Like, before I even look at anything else here, you have to flex him. At wide receiver, Lamb's going to be back healthy, so we got to go with him. And then Rome Odunze. I would go Odunze over Tet, and I think over Rice. I would expect Rice to have a good week, but, I mean, Lamb and Odunze are going to have good weeks as well. The Bears play the Saints, and then you've got Dallas taking on the Commies, who have a lot of decent amount of production of wide receivers, and it's CeeDee Lamb. So that's what I would do. With Rashad being the bell cow, you kind of have to start him. Good question there, man. That's a tough decision to make every single week. I would potentially be looking at some up tiers if I were you. Pookie Mike. We'll get back to yours in a minute. Ras Hype. Start sits. We got Hurts at QB. Then we got Gibbs and White as your top 2 starts. Wide receiver, we got Lab, BTJ, Tet, and Downs. Downs probably going to be out this week with a concussion. Lab McConkey. I got to go with him for sure this week playing the Colts secondary. BTJ looking to be on the up, comfortable with that. Tyler Warren, love him every single week. He's looking really solid. It's basically going to be between Walker and Tet, and I'm going with Tet McMillan. Rarely do I pick a wide receiver over a running back unless it's Kenneth Walker in the Seattle backfield. Appreciate your ass hype. Oh, speaking of, Marv was limited on Wednesday. So he is in concussion protocol. He's going to be limited all week. That's pretty classic. He does have a potential chance to play, though, obviously, which would be very, 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 very funny for a reason that I will not talk about yet. Got some good content coming out in the Flock League soon. So stay tuned. I think we got a video drop in tonight. Paul said, is this where I ask questions? Yeah, Paul, you can drop your questions in the YouTube comments if you want to. I can't guarantee that I'll get to them, but I do answer all the questions. If you follow this link and submit a trade question or a start-sit question, you'll be able to jump the line, and I will be getting to all of those. Again, drop a like if you guys haven't already. Really appreciate you stopping in. Rundown information. So Romodunze, Darren Waller for CeeDee Lamb. This is Romodunze for CeeDee Lamb. Take CeeDee Lamb. Darren Waller, like, legit is essentially irrelevant here. You can stream a different tight end. Great move. Got Jordan Addison. This is gadgets. I know it's pretty much a wash, but which side for floor versus ceiling? Okay, so Addison and Ladd in a 12-team, 12x8 PPR for Keenan and AJ Brown. I would go with Ladd and Addison. Ladd at this point has as much upside as AJ Brown does, and he's just as inconsistent as AJ Brown is going to be rest of the season. So I would stick with Addison and Ladd here. It's just my personal opinion. Appreciate you, man. This is Drew C. Smith, 1212, and he's asking for a 12-team start 8 PPR. DeAndre Swift, Lab McConkey, Trey McBride for CMC and Devonta Smith. I mean, if you can afford this, then I would totally do it. It's a 12x8, so you'll lose some depth here. You'll lose your elite tight end, but again, you're getting CMC. You're getting the best asset in the deal by far, and you only have to pay Swift and McConkey. This would not have been even doable before Swift popped off for 25 points. So I'll take the CMC side here. Good question. Who to play if Diggs is out? Well, got to know what the rest of your team is. Okay, my question was thoughts on this trade. Got offered Rice, Kyron Williams for Puka. That's not bad. That's fair. If you're like 2-4, then I think you kind of have to make that deal. If you're above 500, then I would just stick it out with Puka because he's going to be back. He's only going to miss a week with this ankle sprain. People will be like, Derrick Henry sucks, bro. Trade him to me. That's really funny. People trying to downplay the player that they're intentionally targeting. I'm like, you could be a little smarter about, targeting a player, but that's just me. That's just my opinion. So we got a question here from Jersey Beat. This is a start sit. Rico Dowdle, Cam Scatterbu, Hampton, Judkins. So have to start Scatterbu. Have to start Bijan. Receiver, we got Rashid. Then we got Odunze, Nico, and BTJ. Oh my golly gracious. Yikes. I have to start Waller because Bowers is hurt. So in your flex, it's between Rico, Judkins, BTJ, and Nico. So we'll go with the running back. We'll take Judkins. He has a great lineup this week. Great competition. Or a bad run defense, so it's good for his production outlook. They got the Dolphins. And then Carolina has the Jets. So probably a little more scared of Rico Dowdle. I'd be between BTJ or Nico, and I think I would give the nod to Nico. It's a tough one. It's a good one, though. That's a good squad. Again, guys, drop your trade questions, start sits in here, and I will get to all of them. Go Bears. Yep, I got you, Denick. You're right here. Contending here. Am I giving up too much? This is a first, a second, third, and Jaden Blue for Saquon. It's a first. As a contender, you're contending first, and then a bunch of junk for Saquon. Yes, I'm fine doing this as a contender. Again, you're buying a depreciating asset like Saquon, but he's already lost a ton of value, so I'm okay making this move. Tough decision for Go Bears 99. What are my thoughts? So we got Jaden Daniels, Kyron Jacobs at running back, wide receiver. He's got Pickens, then BTJ, DK, Sutton, no Igbuka, no Pearsall. So between BTJ, DK, and Sutton, let's just go with the best number one of these guys. We'll take Sutton. And then in your flex, you have Javonte. Yikes, Amunda. Okay, so you only have one flex. So Sutton, actually, let me just break down these matchups. We got Sutton taking on the Giants. It's the worst secondary by far. BTJ going to have a tougher matchup against the Rams, and they're going across the pond. So a lot of people are kind of scared about the overseas type of matchups, which I understand, and I'm okay avoiding those if you can, and you do have the ability to do that. We do have DK taking on the Bugles, so both of those are really, really solid matchups. I would go with the guy that's been more consistently productive, and that's Courtland Sutton. He did have a tough matchup against Sauce Gardner and the Jets, but that was overseas against Sauce Gardner and the Jets, right? So I would expect a bounce back from Sutton this week. And then at tight end, it's Waller or Ertz. Yeah, I would go with Ertz. I'm going to swing back to some of these Dynasty ones while you guys are dropping in your trade and start sits. Again, drop a like if you guys haven't already. It really, really helps us out a ton. Thwompy, hey guys, 1-5 this year, soft rebuild, get 101 in deal. So you're getting the 101 for Gibbs and an extra first. I would still hold Gibbs here. I would want more. I would rather down tier from Gibbs if you're going to do anything, rather than just getting draft capital in return, even for the 101. The 101 is not going to be near what Gibbs is going to be priced at. He'll be a half round to a full round cheaper than that, plus a 27 first on top. Again, these are not the types of deals that I'm super in love with in the middle of the season as a rebuild. I would rather get, instead of solely draft capital, I would rather get a lesser player like a Hampton plus. Like as a rebuild, why don't you down tier to Hampton plus a first instead? Shoemake, this is Rashee Rice for Higgins and Devonta. Let's stick with Rashee Rice. Bad time to sell Rashee Rice. Once he starts popping off, you'll be able to get more. So we'll stick with Rashee there. Appreciate you, Shoemake. This is Pookie Mike. This is Monty Downs, Pearsall. This is a ton of junk for Odunze. This is not even remotely close. This is Odunze by far. By far. All these guys are limited upside, limited value upside. You take Odunze and run. Great deal. Who is Snowzy? We got a 2 QB 10 team start, 10 PPR. This is Fields, Jency, Rome. So Jency and Rome for Neighbors and Hampton. Let's say Rome and Hampton wash. Let's say Jency and Neighbors wash. Yeah, I'm fine with this. You can try to get a little something on top since Hampton and Neighbors are both injured. Assuming you're doing this since you're rebuilding or reloading. Get an extra piece on top. Get a second or something. Here, I'll give you a second as a target. But yeah, I'm good with this. I'll call it fair. I'm good with you making this move. Appreciate you, man. Wolf Doctor. So Dynasty 12 team start 9 PPR. Jefferson and Bowers for JSN, a first, and Tyler Warren. Jefferson and JSN, let's just say for all intents and purposes, are pretty value equivalent right now. It's Warren and a first for Bowers. Let's hold Jefferson and Bowers here. I do think they're a little more insulated than Tyler Warren even is at the moment. That first, great long term. I would rather do a smaller deal like, hey, Jefferson for JSN and a first. I would rather do that. Or you could do Bowers for Tyler Warren and JSN. But no, anything other than that, I'm not doing. Hold Jefferson and Bowers for now. This is a 2 QB 10 team start 9 PPR no tight end premium. This is Fields and BTJ for Dart and Worthy. And a 2 QB 10 team, it's fair. I would stick with BTJ. I don't love selling BTJ right now because he'll climb back up boards if he continues to produce at a high level. And he's kind of on the up right now. So let's hold. J-Bo, this is a contender in the pick, should be early to mid. Is it worth it? It's a second for Kyler. Yeah, take Kyler. 100%. Easy. Easy one there, J-Bo. GP Myers says early to mid first for Breece Hall. An early to mid? No, if this is a true early to mid, I would rather have the early to mid first. If it is a mid to late first, or like a late first, then I would take Breece Hall. Avery and I were just having this convo. I think Breece Hall's current market value is false. We got a redraft from Bingham 3782. Again, guys, if you want to get your questions answered, if you want to jump the line, guarantee that I can answer it, follow this link, and I'm happy to do that for you. No tight end, 3 wide receiver tight end flex. Just made this trade. We got Bucky, Rashad White, Terry, and Calvin Ridley for. You got the 2 best players in the deal. Judkins and Bucky essentially cancel. Rashad White's just a package deal with Bucky. But let's just say Odunze and Bucky cancel. Still, this is not even close in a redraft. Great trade. I'm assuming you got the Chuba and Quinshawn and Odunze side, right? And if so, I like the Quinshawn and Odunze side because you also jumped the bye week. You got Rome Odunze back after the bye week, which means you don't have to deal with him being out for the rest of the season, barring injury. Evan Jevin says Derrick Henry and T. Higgins in a 14/7 for Monty, Chuba, and A.J. Brown. No. Nope. Really scared of Chuba rest of the season right now with the way Rico's been playing. David Montgomery's a running back too. So let's just say that cancels. And then I would much rather have the high upside running back over the high upside wide receiver. So let's hold Henry and Higgins here. All right, we got a trade question from Harry. This is Neighbors for Rashee Rice in 2 seconds. No, got to take Neighbors here. Got to hold Neighbors. I like Rashee Rice, but this is an overpay. You should be paying for someone that Rashee is currently value equivalent to, like a Lab McConkey for Rashee Rice. I would do that, but 2 seconds is not enough. So we'll hold Neighbors there, Harry. Should I still target injured Igbuka and Puka? I mean, if you are 5-1, 4-2, heck, maybe even 3-3. If you're 3-3 and you get Puka and he misses the next 2 weeks because of the injury and the bye, I still think that could easily pay off because you'll go on a run at the end of the season if you can get him at a discount. But again, if you're above 500, I would absolutely do it. If you're at 500, I would be careful, but I'd still be okay with it. If you're below, you can't afford to. Rico or Walker rest of the season? Well, I mean, these guys are effectively looking like they're going to both be in committees for the rest of the season, and one of them is producing, the other guy is not. I'm getting close to saying Rico. I'm not quite there. I honestly have Rico and Chuba back-to-back right now, a little bit lower, I think, than Walker and Charbonnet, but that could be changing over the next couple of weeks. All right, Bitter Hornet. Appreciate your patience on this one, man. I'm gonna send you a few trade question vouchers because I know you had to wait a few days for this one because we haven't been on DFF stream for a minute. So here you are, man. Appreciate you. So looking at Bitter Hornets team, there seems to be a trade embargo in this league. I'm 4-1, and I get Rice back next year. Next week. I've sent trades to the 2 0-5 teams, but don't even get a response. Tried trading Scat, Dowdle, Chase Brown, Pearsall, JMO for Breece, Chase. Also tried Chase Brown, Dowdle for Bucky. Should I just stay put and use waivers? I mean, if you're 4-1, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You've got Scat. Like, if you have Scat, I wouldn't be looking to necessarily trade Scat unless you get some crazy steal. I don't think it's worth making a lateral move. It's only worth it if you can get an upgrade here. But Bijan Roll is your team name here. I like that. Jaden Daniels, so you've got an elite rushing QB, though he's been kind of pedestrian for his standards, but he's not killing you at all. Like, his floor is still so high. Bijan, Scat, Rico, Chase Brown, Woody Marks, good stuff. Love your top 2 guys. Rashee Rice now is back, and then we've got Tet, Ricky Pearsall, Jamo, Golden, and Jalen Coker. So solid top 2 guys, pretty shaky beyond that. So Harold Fannin, Mason Taylor, going to be pretty weak as well. You stream tight end because you have a strength at QB, running back, and you have a strength up top at wide receiver now with Rashee coming back. So a couple of things here. You don't need both of those tight ends. I would drop Mason Taylor for Tyjae Spears if I were you. You don't need to hold 2 tight ends on your roster the whole time. I would rather hold some extra running back depth and see if it turns into anything, if like an injury happens or whatnot. I'd also take, who else is available here? This is a 12x7. Yeah, Spears and Mooney are available on waivers right now. I would pick up both. Mooney has been injured, which is why he hasn't been producing. He had an 11-target game this year before he went down with that hamstring injury. He still is capable of getting some volume and has high play upside. So one of those 2 options I really like at waivers. Moves. As far as moves go, you said that you were trying to trade Scat, Dowdle, Chase Brown, Pearsall, Jamo for Breeze Chase, etc. Let me give you some other ideas with some of those types of players. Because I think what I really want to look at here is in a start 7, you got Daniels, Locke, Bijan, Scattaboo, Rashee, Tet, Fannin, your tight end, and then it's one of like Rico, Chase Brown, Pearsall, Jamo, Matthew Golden, Woody Marks any given week. So I'm on the same page as you. We definitely need to make a couple of up tiers here. Right now, when you look at consensus rankings on the site, the expert average, Matthew Golden is back-to-back with Jamo, wide receiver 37, 38. Pearsall's up there at 32. So here's what I would do. I would move Pearsall plus another piece at wide receiver like a Jamo or a Matthew Golden, and I would move up a tier. I would try to get DK or Olave specifically. Try to get DK or Olave, with the focal point being Ricky Pearsall. Another option, if you want to do like a lower end pivot, is if you want to move Matthew Golden and get like a T. Higgins or a Jordan Addison. That's technically, a wide receiver 1 in his own offense for a 2, but you're getting immediate production right now for guys that you feel a little better plugging into your flex at the moment, like a Higgins or an Addison. Or a Terry. Actually, a Terry is there as well. Terry is back-to-back right now in expert consensus with Ricky Pearsall. I would do that for Ricky, or I would see if you could upgrade from Matthew Golden to Terry before he's back healthy. Third move I would do, I think there are still enough believers in Chase Brown that you might be able, you'll be able to get a guy that we just straight up like more in the same value range as him. I would take Jalen Warren, who's back-to-back right now on expert consensus with Chase Brown. I would rather have Jalen Warren. And then another option, it used to be DeAndre Swift, and DeAndre Swift has moved up boards quite a bit. So that's probably, unfortunately, not possible anymore. You can try DeAndre Swift, but if you can't, then I would go for like a Dobbins or a Money. As far as tight end's concerned, like, it's not pretty, but you're probably just going to have to get by there because I don't think there's anybody in the price range of Fannin that we're like, oh, we totally would much rather have you go with Pitts, Hunter, Henry, Hawkinson, Ertz. Like, they're all pretty much the same in terms of total output rest of the season. Like, it's very unpredictable. Just take the guys that are producing right now. Fan is getting target volume, so I'm fine with that. Really want to focus mainly at wide receiver. Like, that's why I gave you 2 of those moves, looking for other wide receiver options. Bitter Hornet, I don't know if you are on the stream right now. If you are, feel free to ask me any follow-up questions. But again, appreciate you. Sent you some trade vouchers as well. I know you're always on here asking questions and follow-ups, etc. So you're the man. Again, guys, if you want to get a start sit question in or a trade question or get your team reviewed, feel free to follow this link that I just dropped in the comments. It's also pinned in the chat for you. All right, we got Aiden up next. Aiden says, first year doing fantasy, and I've made a ton of trades so far because I drafted horribly. I like my team now, but I'm still 2-3. So is there any changes I should make? I just traded away Tyler Warren and trade Tucker for A.J. Brown and McConkey, but it's locked until Tuesday because Brown already played. That's a great deal. That's a very, very, very good deal. Nice job. I love getting the wide receiver upgrades for essentially free, and you can just fade tight end instead. The upside that Warren offers is equivalent to that of the wide receivers, and you just got 2 of them. So you are 3-3. You're able to pull off the dub last week, so that's very good to see. I mean, you now effectively have the best wide receiver lineup in your league. Super strong at wide receiver. Good top 2 running backs. You ended up with McBride and Warren. No wonder you traded away Warren. You essentially just got you got AJ Brown and Ladd for free. Like, that's a great deal. Jalen Hurts. Oh my gosh, dude. Who's this guy above half? He's got Javonte, Genti, Cook, ETN, Amon-Ra Odunze, Debo. He's got a squad too, but I would expect you to be a favorite rest of the season. This guy's gonna be a handful just because he has CMC and Puka and JJ, but. Nah, you definitely have a top 2 team in this league. I definitely agree with the My Team's tool here. So moves that I would make here, I mean, at this point, with that trade that you were able to pull off to get AJ Brown and Ladd, you have too much wide receiver depth. This is a 10-team start 7, so Hurts, Bijan, Quinshawn, JSN, CD, McBride, and then one of Tet, AJ Brown, and Ladd. So one thing that I would definitely do is I would just take the A.J. Brown and the Ladd that you just got for pretty much not nothing, but like essentially nothing for what you really had to sacrifice at the tight end because you couldn't start Warren. I would take those guys and I would up tier and try to get to Rome Odunze or Rashee Rice. Rome Odunze or Rashee Rice, I would try to get one of those guys. Another move that I would consider making is taking Marks and Charbonnet and up tiering at running back. Again, the reason I have you doing up tiers is you're in a 10x7. So depth really doesn't matter that much. 1 or 2 flexible guys rest of the season, and you'll be fine. Marks and Charbonnet, let's try to get up to Jalen Warren. Or J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins or Jalen Warren. And then another thing is, again, if you can't like package A.J. Brown and Ladd and up tier, then what I would do instead is just move one of those receivers for a running back. I would probably just go ahead and move, where do we have Ladd in overalls? You could move Ladd for like DeAndre Swift. And I would be fine with you doing that just to, in a 10x7, their upside is about the same. And you would get a high upside third running back that you can plug into flex if you ever have to, instead of just having way overloaded wide receiver depth at this point. And again, it's not your fault that you have that. It was actually a great move that you did that, but it gives you flexibility to make these trades to get some potential massive upgrades. What's up, Falky? Thanks for popping in, man. Again, guys, if you haven't already, drop a like. Would really, really appreciate it. Helps the stream out a ton. We only have like 24 likes. So hopefully that makes sense. As far as like waiver pickups are concerned, you'll have a couple of you'll have a couple of roster spots available if you make some of these up tiers, which would open up space for you to get like a Shakir or a Judy if you wanted to. I'm totally good with you doing that. So those are some options with waivers as well. Hopefully that makes sense, Aiden. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm not sure if you're on the stream here, but we'll send you the stream link too, so you can look this over, and feel free to reach out to me if you have any follow-ups on Discord. Appreciate you, man. Again, drop your start, sit, trade questions, team reviews, etc. In the chat, or follow this link, and I'll be prioritizing those tonight. It's also pinned in the comments for you guys. So this is Jay Lucas's 1992. Team's playing really well, but I'm looking at upgrades I can make. One thought is to trade Drake London for an upgrade, knowing Mooney's coming back. What other trades, moves should I look to make based on roster and other players' rosters? Yeah, so let's check this out. This is a 10-team start 7 half PPR, which is why you're able to swing these top-heavy guys here. Yep. Checks out. So Mahomes, still great with May. I mean, you don't even need both of those guys. Bucky, Brees, Rachaad White, Harvey, serviceable. Glad that you got Rachaad White. And the JSN, Chase, London, definitely your strength by far. And then Kelsey, serviceable as well at tight end. So a couple of things here. Number one, at this point, I would be looking to pivot off of Brees Hall. Expert consensus still has him ranked respectively. I would try to get Scattaboo just off of name value alone. The name value of Brees Hall, I would move Brees for Scat. If you can't do that, then I would try Travis Etienne, or you can try another disappointing running back like Derrick Henry. Any three of those guys, Scat, Henry, Etienne, any one of those guys I would go for. Bucky and Rachaad White you can hold, because again you have Rachaad White, so you just locked in the number one option in that offense, and it's a very good offense. Addison and Hunter I would be looking to up tier at. So if we're looking at guys a little more valuable than Addison, I would be trying to get up to DK or Olave. DK or Olave is where I would be looking at. Hopefully including Hunter, and maybe even like RJ Harvey. If you had to include RJ Harvey, I wouldn't have an issue with that either. Another option, honestly, for this team as well would be moving Addison for a running back straight up. Again, expert consensus has him at a pretty respectable overall ranking. You could try for like a Jalen Warren, or you could try for a Dobbins, because then you would have Dobbins and then Harvey as your insurance. That would increase the depth of your running back room, where you'd have 3 startable running backs every week: Bucky, Brees, or whoever you pivot to, and then Dobbins. And then you just ride with JSN, Chase, and London at wide receiver. Travis Kelce at tight end is fine. It's not worth paying up from him, and I don't think it's worth trading him away just to stream tight ends. Like, he still is nice. And then Mahomes and May is solid. So I think those are the 3 moves that I would focus on. If you're gonna keep that strength of wide receiver, I'd definitely up tier from your bottom 2, or just move those bottom 2 for more running back help, and then pivot off of like a Brees Hall for sure. Let me know if that makes sense, man. As far as waivers go, if you end up making some of these up tiers, a couple of waiver pickups that would be my favorite here are Godwin, because Igbuka is down. I know Godwin has some injury issues, but it's a nice upside shot to take. And then Shakir would be the other option. Those would probably be my top 2 picks there for the available guys on waivers, the best available. This is a 10 team, so understandable why they're all available there. All right, guys. Again, follow this link that I dropped in the chat if you want to get your start, sit, and trade questions answered. Got a few that came in. I got you. Axe KRD is actually a redraft. Okay, so we'll do axes real quick. Let me actually answer these trade questions real quick. So, got a redraft from Waiver Wire Merchant. This is Brees, London, and Ferguson for CMC, essentially. You're paying up for CMC. In a 10 team, this is actually kind of tempting. Ferguson, Tucker, let's just say for all intents and purposes, let's just say that they cancel. You have Bijan, and that's it at running back. So Bijan and CMC, you'd be adding CMC. And then at wide receiver, you still have Sutton and BTJ and Rome. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just giving up your depth here. Yeah, I mean, it's for CMC. Highest upside player in fantasy football. I'm fine with this. In a 10 team, if it were not a 10 team, I'd be a little more reluctant, but it's a 10 by 7. So I'm good with you taking the CMC side here. Brees is just not looking good in his situation. It's so ugly there in New York. Giving up the 101, 103, looking to flip wide receiver for running back. I would probably not pay a super early first for Nico. I think I would avoid this if these are true early firsts. If I were you, I would rather... If these are both early firsts, like if they're both 101 to 103, then I would want CeeDee Lamb. Instead of Pearsall on top of Nico, try to get Lamb. It's worth it if you do that, for sure. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. Sorry about that mix-up. Sometimes I catch those, sometimes I don't. I know if you purchase the wrong one, again, sometimes it's confusing with the drop-down, so it's not a big deal at all. I got you covered. Again, follow this link if you want to get your start, sit, and trade questions answered. But let's do Axe's team here. So Axe is Ooga Booga. He says, I have no clue what trades I should be making to better this team, considering I don't have too many valuable players. I'd really appreciate your help. Yeah, no problem, man. So you are 2-4 at the moment. Okay, this isn't bad. This is a 10 by 7. You just lost Igbuka, which really sucks. Golly, this guy's in shambles. What in the world happened to his team? Oh my gosh. Who did he draft after Henry and Bowers? I guess Higgins in the 3rd. The rest must have been reaches. That one's rough. Okay, so sorry, not trying to trash your league mate. That's just tough stuff. Doesn't work out like you want it to every year. Just ask me in the Flock League, 2-4. Woo! Super pumped about that. Super pumped. So Goff and Bo Nix at QB. It's serviceable. It's fine. Saquon, Quinshawn, Walker, Benson, Moody. Or Marks, golly. Woody Marks. Emeka Egbuka, BCJ, Marv. And then you have Downs, Burton, Ayuk as depth, and then McBride. So top tight ends. Good running backs. Solid wide receivers. Here's a couple moves that I would make. In a 10 by 7, you just lost Egbuka. You can survive without Ibuka because you have McBride, BTJ Marv, Saquon Quinshon, Goff, and then you have to flex one of like Walker, Downs. Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. So a couple moves I would make here. Let's see if we can trade Marv for... Expert consensus has him at 25. He's kind of a low-end wide receiver too. There are other low-end wide receiver twos that we like. Jalen Waddle's a good low-end wide receiver too. That's where he's currently being ranked. Lab McConkey is also a good low-end wide receiver too. Both of those guys have like equal low floor weeks, and they're just they're in better situations for them to consistently be successful. So even though their floor is still low, you also in the short term, like, you need to get wins. And Marv may miss this week, and he will miss the following week because of the bye week. And you already don't have Ibuka. So that's 2 wide receivers down. I would just make a pivot within that range. Another thing that I would do is I would take some of your depth. I would take Walker and Marks at running back. Hello, Walker, where art thou? Okay, number one, I would just pivot straight up from Kenneth Walker to DeAndre Swift. If you can pivot from Walker to DeAndre Swift, Walker is only valued where he's currently being valued as a low-end running back too because of his name value. That's literally it. He's doing nothing, jack squats. So I would move him straight up for DeAndre Swift. Another option in that range is if you want to take an upside shot on Kamara, that's fine with me. Kamara is at least scoring more points than Walker is. It's still not pretty, but his floor is not as low. And then one thing that I think is that you might be forced to do here, maybe not forced to do, you might want to look into like down tiering from Trey McBride. Down tiering from Trey McBride to like a Kraft, Laporta, Kelsey. And that way you can get like a higher upside option at running back or wide receiver, maybe like improve at one of those spots. That's just something to think about. But as far as like a third move, like a proper third move, let's go Benson and Marks and let's up tier. You don't have the time to wait for Benson to come back. Let's try for short-term production. Let's take an upside shot on Rico Dowdle. I know it's kind of cool for a lot of people to try and trade away Rico Dowdle because they're scared of Chuba, which is understandable. Again, you can't afford to like wait and see. You just have to get the immediate upside shot now, and Rico Dowdle does offer that opportunity. Jaylen Warren is another option too. I would take a shot on Jaylen Warren. So, do you have any questions on that, Axe? Let me know if you have any follow-ups or questions on that. Should I trade Rashad White and Golden for Ibuka? Yes, I would 100% do that. Not a question. No question at all. I would absolutely do that if you could pull that off. Who should I be playing at my flex? Chase Brown, T. Higgins, Wandell, or Kamani Vidal, 12-man league. Chase Brown, T. Higgins, Wandell. Let's go with T. Higgins. No further questions. Thanks for your help. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. We will get the whiteboard to you as well. Within the next like 24 or 48 hours. Appreciate you. Worried Ibuka's going to miss out on a long time with the hamstring injury. It's possible, but again, there's a lot of upside there that I don't really want to say no to when you're trading away. You're just trading away. Rashad's a short-term rental anyways. So whatever you're getting from Rashad White in the short term, you're going to lose in the long term. Vice versa with Ibuka. Nathan, who do you like more this week, May or Mare or Fannin? Probably Fannin, if I were a guessing man. Ugh, I hate when I have to do this. Pause. Coming back. Here we go. Start sit from Gilby. So Gilby says, is YouTube bugging out on you guys? Did YouTube have a heart attack? I think YouTube had a heart attack there for a second. Am I still live? Let me know if it's working for you guys. Retry. Oh my gosh. Is YouTube tweaking? Let me know if you guys can hear me. I got a weird error going on right now with YouTube. Oh, I'm seeing it now. Okay, that's good. Yeah, so like, yeah, I was, I'm on Studio and it's like not loading the preview for me. So then I went to the actual live feed on my app and my app is all screwy. And that's like my personal app too. So I wonder if YouTube like crashed out for some people like me. Okay. Sorry, Gilby. Was making sure that you could actually hear me. Jahmyr Gibbs at running back 1, Genty at running back 2, not a question. Wide receiver. Definitely May over Kyler, by the way. Wide receiver, assuming no Marv, we're going to go with Amon-Ra and Rice. We'd be going Amon-Ra and Rice over Marv anyways. Tight end, Trey McBride. Love it. And then flexing, what are we doing here? Flexing JMO for sure. And then between... Okay, I'm just going to operate under the assumption that Marv is not playing this week. You know that you have to flex Marv if he plays. But if not... Ugh, this is really, really ugly, but you got to go with Hunter. You got to try Hunter. So my mobile app isn't working though. Yeah, dude, me too. It was being weird. Okay, so it's not a me thing, because it was definitely like it was the whole it was the app. Maybe YouTube saw what happened to Wilson and Marvin, had a heart attack. Yeah. Yep. I know how they feel. But see, I didn't crash out. I'm here live streaming, answering questions. I'm still here doing fantasy content, even though my team's in shambles. Brock Purdy at QB, assuming he's healthy. Breece Hall, JT at running back, agreed. Terry at wide receiver, assuming he's healthy. Got to go with Mooney because there's no Garrett Wilson. Flexing Wan'Dale Robinson, Tucker Kraft is at tight end. I agree with that. It's basically Marks or Otten or Mayer. I would go with Marks. You got to go with the running back. Otten is kind of tempting, honestly, because he had 6 targets with no Ibuka for half the game last week. That's very tempting. But I still think I would take the shot on Marks this week. Yeah, very, very possible, Falky. Thanks for doing the on-the-fly troubleshooting with me, guys. Trade question from Dylan. Dylan says a first and Drake May and Tet for Caleb Williams and CeeDee Lamb. So it's essentially Tet and a first for CeeDee, and then you pivot from like Drake May to Caleb. May's rising though. I would call this fair. I'm good taking CeeDee Lamb here. Very possible. Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate you, man. All right, guys, last chance to drop your trade questions, start sits through the site here with the link. It's pinned. I'm also going to drop it one more time in the chat if you want me to answer it before we pop off here. Yeah, studio's totally crashing out on me. That's crazy. At least it's still streaming. Because sometimes when YouTube dies, like, it's killed our streams, absolutely killed them, and it's not like a Wi-Fi thing. Nathan, how's your matchup for Week 7 looking in the Flock League? It's looking, despite all the injuries that I've been going through, it actually is looking manageable. Because I am playing Nick, so Nick is 1-5. He's in just as bad a shape as I am. The issue with Nick, though, is I'm catching him at the wrong time because QJ is probably going to be good to go. He's been limited at practice, but he's practicing. BTJ is starting to pop off. Kyron with no Puka is going to pop off. And then Chuba may be back healthy as well. Golden is on the up. So, like, he's got a lot of high upside guys that are starting to pop off at the same time. And oh, by the way, he has Drake May playing Tennessee. Monty playing Tampa Bay. So, like, there are guys there. Again, they're not like sexy names, but they're guys that, I mean, they could pop off and he could easily win. And I have no Garrett Wilson or Marv. So, my flex spots do not look pretty, but I did make them look a little bit prettier. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Stay tuned for a Flock League video coming out soon. I was looking really, really ugly there. I was looking at flexing, like having to flex Kareem Hunt and Darnell Mooney. Michael Carter is like forced in my lineup at RB2 because I have Henry on bye. I can't catch a break in this league, man. I cannot catch a break. Will there be a Dynasty video tonight? Dynasty video dropped yesterday. We will have another one drop soon. David Elliott, what's up, man? Help, please. League hates me. Appreciate you, man. League hates me for some reason and brings their A game every week when they should be hating the loser with the undefeated team. Swift owner has asked if I would be interested in him. Can I get an assist for a fellow 2-4 owner? Help me. Nathan 1 Schmitobi. You're my only hope. Schmitobi. I like that. That's pretty good. So smoothies for stream safety. That is amazing. I love that. Am I in this league or is Avery in this league? Just Avery in this league? Okay. Cool. So let's kind of diagnose why you might be 2-4. Josh Allen has been pedestrian, aside from the week 1 38-point performance. Nathan, we can see your team right now on the Flock website. We know you made a trade. Oh, well, not everybody follows the league ID on the Flock website. That's funny. No, I did not get absolutely annihilated in this trade. Like, I know that for sure. At least in the moment. Like, long term, I could get annihilated if I end up being wrong about the player that I traded away, which is very possible. I could end up being very wrong about the player that I traded away. But players that I traded away. Players, plural. That being said, I need wins, and I need wins right now. Josh Allen, CMC Alvin Kamara, Nico Flowers, JMO, and then Tyler Warren. Hey, Nux, at least you hit on Tyler Warren. So I see why you're 2-4 here. Slow start for Houston, slow start for Nico. Andy was on the bye week last week, which really hurt you. Zay Flowers with no Lamar really sucks. JMO has been boom bust, mainly bust. CMC and Kamara. CMC's been great. Kamara not so much. Josh Allen, pedestrian. All right. Here is what you are going to want to do. Because I've got thoughts. How's Avery doing this league? 6-0? Good for him. He's got Lamar. I'm trying to find a top team that, this team would be interested. This team would be interested. So Bofa, BK Lemmy, and Noah Sib 12 are who I'm eyeing here. These are all these are teams with non-rushing QBs. A couple of them have elite tight ends. But let's open these up and let's look at them. This guy's Kelsey. This guy's Kittle coming back. So he might be interested if you traded him Warren. If you did a Warren for Kelsey swap, here's the thing. I would rather you get average at the onesie positions and really lift up running back and wide receiver before being elite at running back or at QB and tight end and being really pedestrian at running back and wide receiver, because you're 2-4 and it's because of this right here. It's because of this. So what I would do first and foremost, is I would be looking at doing some swaps at QB and tight end for lower upside guys and getting the help that you need at running back and wide receiver like right now. Because again, you just need to stack up wins at this point. First in points against too. Yeah, that's pretty brutal. So Josh Allen, let's look at potentially down tier from Josh Allen. Just get Jordan Love back, because you can start Jordan Love every single week. He's cool. And then the guys on this team that I would target, I would try to buy Derrick Henry low. I would try to, honestly, if there was a way that you could swing getting James Cook, I would love to get James Cook. James Cook has had 2 single-digit games straight. 2 straight single-digit games. There is going to be a narrative / there already is a narrative out there, which is a correct narrative, that when James Cook doesn't score touchdowns, he has a very, very low floor. You need to bet on the touchdowns, cross your fingers, and hope that he can continue that he can get more touchdowns in the near future, because his upside is very high with that touchdown opportunity with the work that he gets in that offense. I would try to target James Cook. Derrick Henry, though, is probably going to be the more feasible option, or Quinshon or Derrick Henry. If your league mate is very low on Derrick Henry, if Bofa is very low on Derrick Henry and he wants to swing with James Conner and Quinshon, you could probably be able to you could likely be able to swing this. A Josh Allen for like Love and Henry. So that would be the first move I look at. I get it, Kamara's been weak and depth wide receivers are producing. Jennings should have been my wide receiver 4, and that didn't work out. Yeah, I mean, the late round shots you took didn't hit, and that's fine. Like that just is the reality sometimes. Sometimes you hit on every one of your late round shots, and sometimes it's a mix. Sometimes you just miss, and it's like, how did I end up with this luck? Jameson Williams is the next move that I would make. I would move off of JMO, and I would just go to a different 2. I would go to Addison or Higgins if I were you. If you could, if this is possible, I don't know if it's possible, David, but a lot of people are very scared of Terry McLaurin. Like, when's he going to come back? Is it going to be this week? When he comes back, is he actually going to be normal or not? I don't think you can afford that conversation. I would just take the upside shot. If you can move Jameson Williams plus a depth piece like Trey Tucker, Juwan Jennings, or something like that, then I would do that and just go get Terry. And then with Tyler Warren, again, with this guy, if you down tier from Tyler Warren to Travis Kelce, I would try to get Debo. You can throw him something back if you want to, but I would try to get Debo. That would really help your wide receiver upside capability this year. So that'd be my third move. Other teams that might be looking for an elite tight end, this guy, you could just get a tight end off waivers and move Warren straight up for Waddle. I would move Warren for Waddle. This guy drank the Waller Kool-Aid. He's going to be delusional and say he doesn't need a tight end. This guy might. Sutton. You could try to capitalize on Sutton having a slow week last week. You could try Warren for Sutton. again, it's just the positional value. I don't see it with tight ends generally that aren't named McBride. Even like Tyler Warren. I love Tyler Warren in the Flock League. Part of the reason I haven't traded him is because I'm terrified of trading away another rookie tight end like I did last year with Bowers. But again, for your situation specifically, like at 2 and 4, I think it's something that's probably worth looking into. And those would be the three moves that I have for your team. CMC, I honestly don't think I would trade CMC if I were you, unless you just get an absolute haul. So you could shop CMC. Honestly, I'll just add that as a little side note for your team. Like CMC, there would be a top team that would be like, oh yeah, I can pay up for CMC and go win the league, and it would make sense for them. Like this guy. You could try to give him CMC, get Gibbs back in 10. But he doesn't have a lot of depth either. But that is a possibility. I mean, we do at this point, rest of the season, we have CMC a tier above Jahmyr Gibbs. So that's something that would be very possible. See if you could swing that. But this is really what I want to focus on here, and then running back 2 I want to focus on. Kamara, I think at this point is kind of a hold. Just hope that he can get traded or get touchdowns with this volume. The big thing with Kamara right now is he's not scoring touchdowns, which is why he's only scoring 10 to 12 points. His floor is so high because he's getting receiving usage like he usually does, but there's no touchdowns. So hopefully we see like positive regression there. That would be awesome. All makes sense. I think if I can get back to 500, I'll be okay because the team scores points, might slip into the playoffs. Yeah, that would be awesome. And I do think this is salvageable for sure. Like, see, it's optimism like this for teams that are 2 and 4, like your own, and you're that optimistic. And you're that positive, you have such a good attitude about it. It gives me hope for my team. But here's the thing. I don't really want hope. At this point, I mean, I don't want to be miserable, but I don't want to be optimistic and hopeful just to be miserable again. You know? It's just how I feel. Thank you, David. You're the best. Appreciate you, man. All right, guys, we are going to call it there. So appreciate you guys coming and hanging out tonight. Those of you who are members on the site, you know where to find me. Tag me, send me DMs, whatever, if you have any questions this week. But appreciate you all coming in tonight, and we will see you again on another stream. I think tomorrow Avery's doing another DFF stream, so I will not see you tomorrow, but Avery will. Before the game starts on Thursday night, and hope you all have a good week, and let me know what you think about my trade. I'm sure some of you will not like it. I know that a lot of people think it will be fair, so it's more of like a preference thing, honestly, I think, but would like to hear y'all's takes. So I would only be making the trade. I'm only making the trade because I'm 2 and 4, so anyways, I don't want to give away too much because I already have given away too much. Trade video coming out on the Flock League like tonight. So stay tuned, and we will see you again later. Have a good one, guys.